in the primary market was only reflecting what we were seeing in the secondary market. A lot of these listings did go on to create a lot of wealth as well, right? And newer areas like EMS or maybe some of the newer hospitals, something like a NetWeb. I mean, the lock-ins ended today on NetWeb. It's not like people are dumping the stock. It's actually up 2%. So how do you read the fact that so much fresh supply will come up for free trading in the market, coupled with the fact that we've had this dazzling mid-cap rally? What is it that people should keep in mind?
First of all, we need to differentiate between the cause and the impact. I'm very clear about it, right? So for example, there are a lot of good ideas and the investors come and ask us whether it's a liquidity event, right? So for good companies, please bear in mind that the supply will create its own demand. A supply overhang, so was to call, will only matter when your earnings are not coming. So I think first of all, we'll not confuse between, so if the underlying fundamentals are rock solid, I think, I don't think that supply will be an issue. A case in point is Indigo Airlines, right? So there is a very well structured process that has been laid out in terms of how one of the major promoters want to exit over the next 3 or 4 years. And, you've just seen about $500 million getting absorbed, almost regularly. We also need to bear in mind that, we are a very peculiar sort of economy, and the structure of the ownership of the promoters is very, very high. I think it's close to about more than 50%. Almost all the global markets will have far, far lower ownership structures. And if you want to see in terms of what's going to happen in the next 5, 6, 8, 10 years, you are likely to see that, the ownership of the promoters is probably will certainly go down, and the participation from the institutional investors and retail will increase. But in a nutshell, I just take it as a way of life. I'm not too overly worried about this.
Nirav, I want to zero in on the manufacturing companies. Q1 has been exceedingly strong for them. Very good execution. Their order book has swelled, and the companies have revenue visibility for the next few years. The question is, can the government, continue to allot orders at the same pace that they've done over the last 2 years, or was there an element of a little bit of a pent up, say over the last couple of decades because we've not spent so much? The question is, can we assume the kind of order wins that the companies have seen into perpetuity for the next 5 or 10 years?
Well, it's certainly not going to happen. For example, I mean, if you just look at the infrastructure sector, then large part of the infrastructure sector today consists of roads. And in roads, I don't think that you can have a sequential growth. Even if you keep on doing 5,000 or 6,000 kilometers a year, that is good enough. Obviously, there are, significantly new sectors that are coming up in terms of metros, and now we are talking about the railway sector because of this Vande Bharat trains and the deepening of the manufacturing. So I think that I don't believe that markets are looking at perpetual growth in infrastructure, but the fact that your investment to GDP ratio has, I think, inched up to about 29-30%. And if you keep on growing at about 12-13%, which is what the expectations are around nominal growth rate in GDP, that is good enough. What you certainly see a delta is in manufacturing capex, and not necessarily only in the infrastructure. And that is, there are a lot of levers to that. It is obviously the fact that some of the sectors have become fairly competitive in terms of their export appeal. Auto ancillaries is, for example, a case in point. You know that some of the sectors are being driven by a very well template of the PLIs. And obviously now you got deepening of the manufacturing that is happening because of import substitution and subsidies that is given out. So there are confluence of factors over here. And manufacturing is where you can believe that you can have very high growth rates for a very long period of time. And in some cases, the valuations are reflecting that.
Okay, all right, Nirav, thank you very much. Good listening into you today. Thanks for joining in and sharing that perspective with us. Rima, we can have